It is time for our app of the week, and today we are learning about a tool to help entrepreneurs, particularly those in developing nations. The app is called Kountable. With us now is founder and CEO Chris Hale. Chris, thanks for being here with us.
My pleasure.
All right, let's talk about Kountable. First, explain to us how it works, and specifically, how does it help entrepreneurs? What is Kountable?
Sure. So Kountable is a platform. Part of it is a mobile application, part of it is a web-based application, and it's a data management system. And we use all of that to decrease the distance between entrepreneurs and investors. Right? So there's been a lot of development of mobile applications that leverage technology to minimize distance between people for communications and measurement and management. And so we use analytics, cloud-based analytics, and then information management systems to bring investors and entrepreneurs closer together when they're typically separated by the inability to connect.
Well, let's talk more about that, because I know with becoming an entrepreneur, sometimes financing the money, I mean, that is a big part of having a successful business. But Kountable, the app, you guys don't lend money,
That's right.
but you do provide financing. Explain how
That's
that works,
right.
the money part.
Sure. So there's a big part of finance that's not lending, called trade finance. Right? And a lot of entrepreneurs in emerging economies are doing things like importing and exporting goods, moving them around the world. And they don't necessarily need a loan to them. They need a supplier paid so that they can ultimately make money through that transaction. So we fund a supplier and get paid by a buyer and partner with the entrepreneurs in that way. And it keeps us from lending directly to the SME and makes SME as an entrepreneur and makes the transaction much safer for investors.
How do you get investors involved? How do you get them to bite and want to be a part of these companies?
Yeah, so we began doing these transactions with our own capital, and then moved to working with impact investors. So there's a lot of investors that are motivated by earning a return, but also by helping entrepreneurs in emerging economies grow their businesses, develop a middle class, and become engines of economic growth in these economies. And so we've been marketing to those investors, and we have a fund here in the United States for accredited impact investors that have come in and earned a return over the last 12 months.
These are entrepreneurs, not just here in the United States, we're talking all over the world, right?
Yeah, so right now we've run our pilot in East Africa, and we're launching in India and a couple other places. We haven't done any business here in the United States.
Will you?
You know, we hope to in the future, and we're evaluating that opportunity. Right now, the way that our platform works is very well structured for international trade. And so for that reason, we've been targeting entrepreneurs overseas.
I looked up the app, available for Android and iPhone, and it's free, so that's a good point. Tell us some success stories that you have, that you've actually dealt with real-life entrepreneurs, and because of Kountable, they are successful.
Sure. Yeah, so a lot of our transactions have been in medical and in education. So we've had entrepreneurs come to us that have had contracts to do things like import neonatal intensive care units and install them in hospitals and help provide care for premature babies. So we did a transaction where we brought in 24 neonatal intensive care units into Kigali, Rwanda.
Wow, in
a country where they had hardly any pre-neonatal care, and helped to establish that platform.
So wow, you're helping entrepreneurs, but also changing lives too.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we were very lucky to learn is that these entrepreneurs are doing mission critical work, because in these environments they're building critical infrastructure.
Wow.
So we do things like build computer labs in schools and help hospitals develop their care.
All right, co-founder, CEO of Kountable, Chris Hale. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.